Thank you, Jenny. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayyaz Qureshi. I'm the program leader for MSc Cyber Security at GCU. We are from Department of Cyber Security and Networks, and I'm going to give you an overview of our programs and different modules and different facilities that we have available. Now, a little bit about our department. We are around 15 member of staff. We are almost 600 students across undergraduate and postgraduate. Our undergraduate cohort is bigger, and the postgraduate we have MSc Cyber Security. In undergraduates, we do have BSc in cybersecurity and digital forensics as well. So there are two pathways. But my focus for today's presentation is going to be the postgraduate degree, which is the MSc Cybersecurity. Now, our program is a one-year program, and this MSc is divided into different trimesters. I'm going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. But the most important aspect of our program is that it is very much hands-on and skills-based. So what do we mean by hands-on, and why do we need skills-based programs these days? Now, we know that the modules that we teach in our GCU are the blend of both theory and practical, but we tend to rely more on the practical side of the module. So that means anything that you would learn here, any theoretical concepts, you would get to apply them practically. So if it's networking, then you get to do that on live Cisco routers that we use. And this goes on for different modules. I mean, it is very important. The reason is that it would bridge the gap between the theory and practice, and you would also develop the practical skills. So when you're a graduate, you have the practical skills to go on in the industry and apply those skills. So it is very important that we have this thing in our modules. Now, why should you choose MSc Cybersecurity at GCU? So first of all, the top thing is that we are accredited by NCSC, which is National Cyber Security Center in UK. So NCSC means that our program meets a very rigorous standards, and programs involves a lot of modules, and the staff members that we have, all of us are meeting very rigorous standards because we are accredited through NCSC. Other benefits involve that our modules are aligned with current industrial needs. I'm going to talk about our industrial connections in a couple of minutes. Doing a degree accredited by NCSC, that means you would have more chances of employability, and then you would have a global outreach as well. So that's very important. Then we are located in Glasgow, and Glasgow is home for many fintech companies. You can find many startups and cities playing a key role in Scotland's digital ecosystem. So this bit is very important. Then we know that the cybersecurity challenges are on rise. This is because the attacks are on rise because of the IoT devices that we are using, and we are digitally connected these days. We have AI these days, which is also impacting the cybersecurity landscape. Then there is a huge gap for the people who are equipped with the current cybersecurity needs. Then at GCU, if you choose to opt to do the program at GCU, we have an expert faculty that can help you to equip with those needs so that you can, when you enter your field in the future, you are well equipped in order to cater those challenges. A little bit about the job market. So the UK cybersecurity has generated 11.9 billion in revenue in year 2024, and that is 13% rise from the previous year. So you can see that there is a lot of revenue in the cybersecurity sector. And when there is a revenue, that means there are more jobs. So there's 11% jobs rise than the previous year in the year 2024. There is a high demand for the security architects, incident responders, penetration testers, and different job roles are available in the job market for you. And the salaries are also very good, ranges from 40,000 to 100,000, and sometimes even beyond, depending upon the skills that you have, the specialization, and some experience. So we'll talk about all of those when I go through different modules that we have available at GCU. Then we can look at the global trends, that why doing a master's in cybersecurity is very important. So we're looking at the gap. So you can see that the cybersecurity market is projected to grow at 562 billion by 2032. And since we are living in the age of IoTs, which Internet of Things, that means we are globally connected. Now, global connectivity is a very good thing, but at the same time, the attack surface is also increasing. That means it is getting easier and easier for the hackers or bad actors to attack the systems, network systems, your architectures. So there is a strong need for the skilled professionals to be out there, and the MSc program at GCU would help you achieve that. They are using many different techniques, but some of the techniques that they are using are ransomware, phishing attacks, they're using social engineering, different things they are using to attack the systems. And the skilled professionals that we have in the cybersecurity market are not enough at the moment to meet this demand. In addition to that, in UK and Europe, we have the GDPR, and the GDPR is a law which requires the organizations to respond, to retain the data, to carefully manage the data, to ensure the confidentiality and the reliability and availability of the data. And if something happens to the data, if there is a data breach, then you have to respond to that breach in a fixed amount of time. So for all of these, you need skilled cybersecurity professionals, and MSc at GCU can help you be that. Now, a little bit more about the program structure. We just talked about the overall experience of why do we need cybersecurity, why cybersecurity is important, why should you choose GCU, and some of the global trends. Let's talk about specifics of what do we cover in our programs. Now, before I go into the detail of all of these modules, just to tell you what they are and what do we teach in these, you can see that our programs are a mix of networking and the cybersecurity as the name of them. And cybersecurity and networking are really inseparable, right? They go hand in hand, because the computer networks is how we have got our networks to be connected, how we do, for example, use internet, anything these days. So the networking part usually is focusing around these network systems, and the cybersecurity part in our modules is focused on the security of those network systems. So they both go hand in hand. It is very important that we need to focus both of them in order to equip our graduates. So there are some of the modules that are in there. For example, networking modules would be telling you how to work with, say, VPNs, firewalls. You can think about different technologies like MPLS and other security paradigms. But the cybersecurity part in our modules is going to help you understand, the forensics, the malware analysis, and how you can use the ethical hacking and all of that. So both of them are very important, and we have designed our modules in that way. So the program is divided into 3 trimesters, right? So we have trimester A, which is usually starts in September. Then we have trimester B, which is usually starts by the end of April, start of May time. And then we have C, where the students in August, it completes, where students complete their dissertations to finish off the masters. In trimester A, as you can see that we have different modules. Each module is 15 credits. So the module fundamentals of routing and switching, as the name suggests, would be talking about different routers, switches, how they are being connected, different protocols such as RIP, OSPF. If you talk about switching, then you know how the different switching algorithms are working. So all the basics of networking is going to be covered in routing and switching module, right? This module is very important because we have tried, because our masters is a conversion masters, right? We want people from different streams, they can come and do the masters in cybersecurity. So this module specifically is giving you the foundational knowledge that you would use in your advanced networking and cyber modules in this trimester and in the upcoming trimesters. Then you have the secure operations, where you can talk about the threat intelligence, you can talk about the attack surface, you can talk about the tools such as cryptography. You would learn that in this module. Then you have the cyber defense testing, and in this module, you would learn about the, first of all, legal, ethical, and social and professional issues that are involved with the hacking and ethical hacking. And then you'll do the ethical hacking, different tools in the labs that you would do in order to learn all of that. Then there is a module called research and project methods, right? This module is the foundation of what you would do in your trimester C, which is a master's project. Okay, so this module, can you hear me okay? Is everyone able to hear me okay? See, 1 second. All right, good. So this module, which is the RPM module, is the basics of what you would do in the master's project. So we would not just ask you to come up with a master's project, because it's a big endeavor, as you can see, 60 credits. So we teach you this module in both try A and B. And you would talk to the experts in the field, i.e. your staff, in order to come up with a topic, in order to come up with a gap in which you would have to do your master's project. So you would get the advice from the member of staff, and senior member of staff would be teaching you these modules as well. So it's very important, and this is the foundation of what you would do in Tri-C for 60 credits, which is the master's project. Then you have the cyber in Tri-B. In addition to research and project methods, you have cyber forensics and incidents response, right? And this module is particularly important in terms of learning the malware analysis. Again, the legal, ethical, and social professional issues, very important for all of these modules. You would learn about that. Then you can do the analysis of malicious code. So things regarding the forensics, and if something happens, how do you respond to the incident is going to be part of this module. Then you have a module of secure connectivity, which I am teaching these days. So I can talk more passionately about this module, and I can go on and on. But to be brief, this module is about um, the the private traffic, the traffic that we can send over the VPN. So we can talk about different VPN, let's say DM VPN. We can talk about the GRE tunnels. We can talk about the MPLS VPN. We can talk about IPsec VPNs, different virtual private networks that we have. We'll talk about in the secure connectivity module. Network security is again something related, but in this you would learn about overall paradigm of confidentiality, integrity, and authentication, and overall the network security parameters. So any parameter security is going to be covered in the network security modules. Information security management is also very important in terms of telling you how to do the risk management. How can you build on the organizational resilience? As a part of this module, we also talk about some of the basic industrial standards such as ISO and IEC series standards that we have available. So these are some list of modules that we teach. Each of one of them is 15 credits. When you come to Tri-C, it's the master's project, which is based on your research and project methods module, and that is 60 credit. So what are different credits and awards? So each module is 15 credits. So if you, in order to get the MSc, you would have to complete all of the 120 credits, which are the modules. Plus, you would have to complete the master's credit in order to get the master's degree. If you are unable to complete this one, you can also get the postgraduate diploma provided you complete 120 credits. And if you have less than that, as some modules pass and some are not, then you can also get the postgraduate certificate. But again, it depends upon different circumstances. And the assessment boards usually look at all of those things while making those decisions. So in order to complete the master's degree, you would have to go for 180 credits. The program delivery, I have already told you, it is going to be in trimester A, B, and C. The trimesters usually last in 12 weeks. And you have exam period in January and May, end of April, May. In Tri-C, usually because you would only have your master's project. So there is no per se assessment. You would have to do your master's project simulations. Then you would have to talk to your supervisors throughout, which is an expert in the field in which you are doing your project, and then you would submit your dissertation. The delivery is 100% on campus for now. And the lectures are delivered via seminar. So seminar is a combination of traditional classroom environment where the lecturer is talking, and then at the same time you have to do some sort of a lab as well. Then you have to do some sort of a reinforcement tutorial as well. So seminar is a combination of that, and we use 3-hour seminars each week to deliver each module. We post-COVID, most of the traditional exams in which you have to sit and do the exams have been replaced by the continuous assessments. I'll talk about different type of assessments that we have available in our next slide. But the traditional exams are now minimized, and we are using more continuous and more assessments which are more engaging. Students usually enjoy it more rather than just sitting and doing the traditional exam. The detail is coming up next. Another thing that is very important is that we use flipped classroom environment. And the flipped classroom environment means that anything that I have to teach, say, to you next week, I will give you that material today. You can go through that material. And once you come to the class the following week, then, I, as a module leader, would go through all of those things. But then, since you would have a wee idea of the things, you can have more high-level discussions. That does not mean that the instructors do not cover the material since they were released in advance. They do cover. It's just that it would give you more flexibility to review the materials before you're coming to the lectures. And then you can, again, the very first thing was that it's going to be hands-on, so you can spend more time on hands-on. And if you experience any problems while doing and applying those the theoretical things via the practicals, the instructor is there and they're helping you there. So it's a very good environment, but we do spend a lot of time going through all of the materials in our classes. The assessments are, for example, they could be courseworks where they have given you some set of requirements. Based on that, you would complete your work and submit your assessment. So courseworks are released weeks in advance. So if I want students to submit an assessment in week 12 or week 13, I'll give out the courseworks. And a few weeks before, 4 weeks usually before, we give out the courseworks, even before that. So courseworks give you more flexibility and more time to work on the assessment. And then some of the assessments are course-based, but they are skills-based assessments, where, for instance, in my module, I'll teach students some things, and then I'll give them some of the requirements. Then they can come up with their own design. Students have the flexibility to come up with their own design, and when they come for the assessment and they submit their assessment, they can justify their design choice and all of those things. So this gives students more flexibility in terms of assessment, rather than just sitting a traditional exam and doing the sitting traditional exam environment. Is a more flexible environment that you would have. Then we can use some online assessments as well based on DCU Learn. DCU Learn is our learning management system, LMS, that we use for any content that we want you to learn. We can upload that on the DCU Learn Blackboard. And then you have some reports or technical things that you can submit. So these are some sort of assessments that are available in this module, in this program. The modules that you would learn, they are industry relevance. The modules that we are teaching, as I said, we are accredited with NCSE. So we have to go through some rigorous process to get accredited. So that means over the programs, and we do have industrial advisory board as well, which can advise us the gap that is available in the industry. So modules are developed accordingly. So here are some of the things that you can learn that are very practical, that you can learn in our modules. So for example, you could talk about Red Hat Linux. You can learn about Cisco, which is a giant in networking field. You can use different Linux. You can learn about the forensics tools. So all of these are very industrial relevant, and they are very focused. And we just spoke about the gap that exists in the field out there. So the modules at GCU would give you a practical experience to go through these modules while you're studying, so that when you go in the field, you are well equipped to face those challenges and work on these tools. Student support, we have excellent student support available. So for instance, me as a program leader would be there to look at the overall how the program is running. I tend to have drop-in sessions with MSc students to see if they have any issues. If they have any module level issues, then the module leader, the person who is teaching that module tutor, is available for them to help. Then you have the personal tutors available. If you are struggling with some things, for example, time management and all of that, you can talk to the personal tutors as well. So personal tutors, module leaders, program leaders, they are all the member of staffs, and they are all part of our team, which are teaching these modules, and also they are looking at the overall how the students, if they need something, they can answer. In addition to the academic staff, you also have support available from student association, and full-time student officers are there in our school if you need any help. The class rep is also a person from your class that if you have a collective concern, they can feed it back to the module leaders or the program leaders, and they have been very effective because we do have a student partnership forum, SPF, where class usually give their concerns to the class rep, and class rep then comes to the department and explain what other things that they need update or fix. So we as a member of staff then work on those student concerns and provide the student support. And students are always encouraged to come one-on-one as well if they want, and that's why we do have the drop-in sessions available for them as well, in case they want to talk face-to-face with any of our member of staff. Learning resources that we have, I talked about the Blackboard already. We do have top network engineering labs available in Scotland. Networking labs, we have big 3 networking labs equipped with the advanced networking equipment, routers, switches, firewalls that you can use. We also have a new security operations center lab in collaboration with Proact and Logarithm. And then we do have, over the GCU, we do have other specialist lab, and students can also get access to the remote labs using the NetLab and AG. So these are some of the support circles. Again, in order to help with your learning, we do have all of these facilities available. We are linked with the industry, and these are some of the industries and some of the organization names that you can see that we are linked with. And how do we link with them? We actually call them for the employability sessions every week, usually on Wednesdays. Students don't have any timetable class at a fixed time where students can come and talk to some experts in the field from those organizations, and many others can come and talk to the students, talk about the real things that are required in the field, the gaps that are there, and help students with the skills, right? So all of those are part of our employability sessions that are held each trimesters, and experts in the field will be talking to you there. In addition to this, we do have in the department two of the societies available. One is the Women in Cyber Security and the Ethical Hacking Society. So students are always encouraged to join this because they do have very good programs and very good series. Sometimes they organize some conferences as well, and students find those very interesting. So these are some of the societies associated with the departments. There are many other available as a part of a student union. You can have a look at that there too. We do have different opportunities and support. For example, we took part in Cyber Security Scotland Week. I remember standing in the Glasgow Central Station where we had a desk where the people coming and going can have a chat about our program and some of the things that are some of the challenges in the cybersecurity. So we do have the opportunities and support available for our students to excel and to the wider community. One of the last things, but very important, is the academic writing. Some of the students do struggle with the academic writing, and I will just give you my example. Being an international student myself, I struggled with the academic writing. The GCU has something which we call Learning Development Center, right? So learning development centers, we can book the one-on-one slots with them. They do have seminars throughout your MSc studies as well, where you can go and talk to them about the academic writing, and they are very helpful in order to improve your academic writing style. And anything related to academia, LDC is a very good support that we have available, and the students find this thing very useful. So LDC would help them with academic writing, and if they have any help that they need to improve upon their communication and presentation skills. So academic writing is always there. So if you're part of GCU, if you're part of doing a master's at GCU, these were some of the, we talked about the gap in the field, why cybersecurity, and, things that we would teach in the department. And in addition to this, you would also have all of these supports available to you. Okay. So these were all the contents that I wanted to talk about. Here is my contact detail. I'm the program leader for MSc Cyber Security. So if you have any further questions, feel free to ask me questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer. But if you have any questions even after this, feel free to drop me an email at aqu2@gcu.ac.uk. I'll be happy to answer. If you would like to have some queries related to the head of department, Dr. Anand Philip, his email address is also here. Okay, so all queries and Q&As are welcome, and hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayyaz. I hope everybody found that interesting. I'd just like to introduce Minal, who is one of our current students on the programme, who can give us a bit of an insight on what it's like to actually study the programme with us. Minal?
Thank you, Jenny. Okay, so I was a third-year direct entry student at GCU, where I have completed my bachelor's in cybersecurity and networks, and I'm currently doing master's in cybersecurity. And my experience at GCU, both as an undergraduate and post graduate student has been excellent. So transitioning from college to university can be challenging, but GCU provided excellent support to help settle in. And for example, open days and induction programs offered essential guidance, and the pre-induction course was particularly helpful. It familiarized me with the GCU systems, including student email and GCU Learn, making the transition much smoother. And and the teaching at GCU is excellent, as the lecturers ensure that students understand the foundational concepts before building on them, and they explain the topics in a more clear and structured manner, making complex ideas more accessible. Additionally, the lectures are very approachable, whether via email or face to face. They're always willing to listen and assist with any concerns regarding coursework or any other guidance. So beyond lectures, GCU provides extensive academic support through various services. For example, Ayaz mentioned LDCs, the Learning Development Centers. They offer academic writing support and guidance for both home and international students. And they provide online and face-to-face sessions, workshops, small group discussions, and resources on dissertation writing, report writing, exam preparations, and how to avoid plagiarism. Sessions are also recorded for later access, so you can access them later on if you don't, sorry, uh, are unable to watch them at the time. So there's other services like library services and IT help desk. They provide assistance with study material, IT support, and general resources. There's also funding and finance support, which helps students with financial aid, tuition concerns, and budgeting. And other than that, GCU actively supports students with their career development through various resources such as the Career Hub. This provides opportunities to look for part-time and full-time jobs and even volunteering opportunities. And like Ayaz mentioned, there's employability sessions. These are talks done by industry professionals, and these sessions offer insights into career opportunities and essential employability skills. So, as part of the modules, for example, for me, I earned free certifications from Cisco, which also added significant value to my CV. And there are other platforms like Try Hack Me, Blue Team Labs, Hack the Box, Immersive Labs, and Let's Defend that helped develop hands-on cybersecurity skills as well. So other than that, or like there's also the Students Association that represents student interests, ensuring their voices are heard. And within the association, there's a student voice that makes decisions for the student that influences decisions on their behalf regarding campaigns, activities, and essential services. So GCU also provides student well-being support. For example, Advice Center that opens from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which offers guidance on various student issues. There's also an alternative service, Nightline, that's a confidential support service that runs by student volunteers that is available via telephone or text from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And GCU has over 60 societies, including astronomy, business. There's also Dungeon and Dragon Society. And while I was in my 3rd and 4th year, I joined Ethical Hacking Society. It organized different online and in-person workshops, as well as capture the flag competitions, where participants can work on solo or even in teams to find hidden flags, which are text strings in cybersecurity challenges. And they also hosted a cybersecurity conference called G3C. It's short for Glasgow Caledonian Cyber Convention. that that brought together students, industry professionals, and all cyber enthusiasts together. And I volunteered at this event, where I assisted with the directions and ensuring smooth operations, which was an invaluable networking and learning experience for me. So, as a master's student, I have had an opportunity to study with a diverse group of international students from Nigeria, India, Pakistan, and other backgrounds. And this diversity enhanced learning, as everyone brings a unique perspective and experience, whether they come from a cybersecurity background or not. And currently, I serve as the class rep, which has been a rewarding experience. And this role had allowed me to interact with all of my classmates, uh, to address their collective concerns and communicate feedback to the teaching staff. The faculty is responsive to the student feedback and continuously work to improve the modules and overall course structure. So, GCU is an outstanding institute that provides high quality education, ample skill development opportunities, and exceptional student support. The lecturers, staff, and various resources ensure that students receive the guidance they need throughout their academic journey, preparing them for a successful career in cybersecurity and beyond. So, that's all I had to say.
Thank you, Minal. That was great. I hope everybody's benefited from hearing from your experience. Just going over to any questions from the audience now. We have a question from Solomon asking, can you work and enrol on the master's programme at the same time? And how will the university help with that in terms of time management? Now, Solomon, you can certainly work if you're an overseas student here on a visa. Then you can work for up to 20 hours per week, but you must be mindful to prioritise your academic studies. Ayyaz, would you like to add anything more about support and help with that?
Yes. Students who are here, they study and they do work as well. But as we say, that it's a full-time master's. So you should be spending more time doing the master's. So students do the part-time work as well. But when they are back on campus, and if they have any concerns, they are free to contact their module leaders, or me as a program leader, if there anything that is concerning. We do have other support available. We do have a student well-being team on campus available as well, in case students are struggling with something, so you can consult there as well. So feel free to ask me questions if you have any. We are a very good group, so most of our students in our MSc program are international students, and it's a very good blend of different students who have coming from different backgrounds, different experiences. Some of them have done already work in networking before, cybersecurity before. Some of them are carrying some of the certifications, but since it's a conversion masters, we ask students from different backgrounds. They are welcome to apply, and they attach all the supporting evidence while they're applying. So we do have very good cohort, and most of them are international students. Let me see in the chat if there is any questions. So Emmanuel says, so what is expected from students before enrolling in course, i.e. programming background or other courses? So the only background usually is a conversion master, as I said, and students from different backgrounds are welcome to apply. Students who apply, they should have some sort of basic knowledge about the networking, cybersecurity. Some students, when they join, they do have some very basic networking certifications such as CCNA or very basic cybersecurity things as well. But we do look at the student profiles holistically, right? So even if you don't have some of the experience and you are able to evidence something in the statement of purpose or anything that you submit as a part of your application, we're happy to look at that. The next question is, I would like to know if it's possible for the department to help with placement after the graduation. So MSc program is a one-year program. So there is no gap, unlike our undergraduate program where they have students after, I think, year 3, they can go for the placement. It's a one-year program. We do not have placement during the degree. Now, after the degree, we're happy to support students with any references if you need, and then we do have career service at GCU as well, and that usually gives weekly update on any opportunities that are coming up, so we can support our prospective students in terms of that. So I'm just going through the chat in case I have missed any question. Not yet. No, there's no other question for now. Feel free to ask me questions, and even if even after this session, I'm happy to have to support you with your queries, and you can see my email address on the screen, which was aqu2@gcu.ac.uk. Students do the perspectives to students can contact us, and I'm happy to answer their queries. But it's good to have a one-on-one discussion while we are here, so please feel free to ask in the chat. While we're waiting for more questions, let me just talk more about, we said that the MSc is a very hands-on, and, so for example, for some of our modules, you are using the simulated experience. So for example, for my module, we use the Cisco Modular Lab. It's an advanced version of a packet tracer, very advanced version that is used for research, in order to help with the some VPN technologies. But we do have campus labs available as well, just in case students want to implement the very same lab on the live networking equipment. We have 3 different labs available. Students are able to come because these labs, the building these days is open till I think 8 p.m. or something every day. So you can even come after class hours in your extra time if you want to work on the very same thing that you learned theoretically, or the thing that you are doing on your simulated environment, you can do on a practical live equipment as well. And then same goes for the other modules as well. For forensics, where when you get to see the live malwares in action, different types of malwares, and then you can apply some ethical hacking skills and all of that in our the labs that we have available. So very hands-on experience that you would have, and this is what they require in the industry, because this is the gap, so that when you are graduated from this program, you are very equipped to work on these industrial grade softwares or the tools, let's say, that they are available that we use here. Go to the chat. What is the best preparation in terms of academic before start of masters in cybersecurity? It's a very good question. So, before you are starting the MSc, if I go back to one of the slides that I covered, you can see all of these modules that we would teach, and I've already talked about what are the contents that we would cover as a part of this program. So if you are coming from a background which does not involve a lot of routing and switching, maybe you can start watching some foundational videos of the router and switches operation and fundamentals of some of things. Then if you are coming from background where you have this knowledge, you can learn about some advanced things in terms of VPN technologies. Of course, we're going to cover that when we do our modules, but in order to give some some time for you to when you are starting at a good pace, but it is a conversion masters, and we make sure that everyone who is enrolled in our program is at the very same footing. So even if you don't have that background knowledge, when you come for us come with us in our modules in our program, we make sure that you understand all of those basic things. Just go to the chat again to see if there is any other questions. Please feel free to rewrite the question if you think that you wrote the question and I somehow skipped it. I am looking.
Okay, it looks like we've maybe not got any more questions at this moment. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank our presenters and thank everybody for attending today. If anyone has any questions afterwards, do feel free, as Ayyaz says, to email him.